So alright, now let's say I want to do some I want to give some information about this individual. So let's say we have something like this, uh, and here I want to type about this. So let's say this is a paragraph. um, let's say I have all of this in a paragraph. So I have this like this, and then I have lorem about jobs. So let's say I have that. I can try to break it into multiple. So if I refresh that, I'll have something not pretty. So I have something like this. Is quite not pretty. So what I want is to the image to be well aligned to the left, while the content is aligned to the right. So this is before HTML5. You could do something like give image attributes align. If you do something like this, align equals to left. So if you do that, you see that the image is aligned to the left and the content comes. And let's say every other guys are also in their on their own paragraphs. So let's say we have this on its own paragraph, while this one is on its own as well. So if individually they are separated this way, you will notice that you get what you want. So we got what we want. So words is here, and like that. So let me say I have more lorem. Like that. And even in the lorem, let's say I have paragraphs, and this one ends here. So it will give me the kind of structure that we're looking for. So just trying to break stuff into paragraphs, so we can have an exceptional illustration. So we can have something like that, a paragraph. You can have something like this, that way. So if we have it like this, so this is close to my intention. Something like that. So something like this. This is what I want. So we have the image that I'm talking about, and this is the contents beside it. Alright. So so what we used to achieve that was alignment, and we say align equals to left. So we can align equals to right as well. But this is not an HTML5 supported tag. This is a prior version. Okay, and it still works anyway. But then we want to do it the proper way. Is just to come in here in the style tag. Okay, we don't have a stack tag for this, so we can specify a style tag. Style equals to then I'll just float it. So we call it floating. I'll float it to left. So it means I'm aligning to left. So I can have float left and float right. So if I do that, so pretty much you see that there's no difference. So if I remove that, just so that you know that that's what is working. So if I have this, so I can have it floated. You can see that it's just working on its own. So if I have it like this, it means it's going to shift to the left and allow the content to come to its left. Alright, so that way. So we can have flow left, we can have flows right as well, you know. So if you say float right, so we can see the image has moved to the right hand side while the content comes to the left hand side. Alright, so this is about floating an image or floating a content. So float left, float right are attributes of that. Okay, so let me say I take it back to left because I want it to be left, like this, so I can have it this way. So I have it that way. Now because you see that there is no space between this image and the content beside it. All right, so later on I'm going to be introducing it to what we call cascading style sheet proper. All right, but for now I'm going to tell you what it is. Each time you need a space between a content, an element, and the other, that relative spacing is called margin. That's the space between, like the space between words and this content. Now that's a margin. So you want a margin. If you want it bigger, you want it smaller. The space between a Larry and words, you want this is the space. All right, so this is a margin. We call this a margin. And as far as Larry is concerned, this is the top of Larry, so this is going to be margin top. All right, and this side it will be the margin right of Larry, and this is going to be the margin bottom of Wars. You understand? And this side will be the margin left. So I'm not introducing it into the CSS proper, but what we have been writing inside this style sheet is essentially a CSS. All right, so is what we call inline css. So I want that image to have a margin, so I will just say a uniform margin throughout top, bottom, right, and left. I want it to have a uniform margin, so I can say have a margin of 10 pixel. Okay, so if I say that and refresh, so I can see that there's something that's looking interesting. So there's a space between this and this, and then it's looking a bit readable now. So if you go ahead and increase it, let's say 20 pixel, and you can have some more spacing between that and that. So I'd rather keep it as what it was, 10 pixel, and we can have something. Okay, so this is the an image I'm talking to, and this content of that image. So what you are going to help me do right now will be to put to complete this with the content. Just try to create some content here that is talking to this content here, talking to this break forward and mark into different section or paragraph, and then give it something like that. So let's say I have that way, paragraph, and then from here let's say I break this and have this as HR, like that. So there is some sort of an horizontal line, and apart from the horizontal line I would equally create something. So let's say I have HR, so I have HR here, and then I have another HR here, and then between these guys, so let's say we maintain this now. So we've separated we've separated them. All right, so let's say this guy is on a section, and we want to give them entirely, all of them, background color. So we have background color. So I'm gonna have style. You know how to change background color. So we have style, background color is just pick any color. So let's say I pick that. So you notice that we have that changed. So that's which of the paragraph is that? Let me change it to red. So it's not pretty much is not obeying that. So let me use section for it. So this guy is so let's use section for this section. All right, so and the section, the entire section will end here. The entire section ends here. Alright, so if you want your code to be properly formatted, you can just use Ctrl Shift F. So you have Alt Shift F. So I can have them like that. Ctrl A, and then Alt Shift F. So and it's cleaner. to look. Alright, so we have section, and then this one also section. Got close there, and style background color equals to red, and that's taking the red, but I don't want to use red. I want to use another color. So we've done this before. This is just kind of revision on your. So let's say we have an interesting color like this. Alright, so you can go ahead and give all these other sections, make them a section, and give them different colors, and put the write up beside each of it. So let's say we have here, we call this a section, and we have that. Okay, so that section got closed here, and you equally give it a style, background color. So background color, this, that's another color, interesting color, sandy brown. So I have that like that. So your content is going to be there, and you give me what the content will be. Alright, and you can just go ahead and share it with me if you've been able to do it. I would really like to see it. So like that and like that. So section, give it a style, you know, background color and all of that. So I'm done with background color. So we've been able to set background color for body. Initially, when we introduced ourselves to that, we've been able to change background color of various elements. So the next thing I want us to explore is how do we change background image. For instance, if I'm not interested in giving this page a background color, all I'm interested is I want to give it a background image. So I have a logo of my company, and then I want to use it as my background, or I have an image of our company building. I want to use it as a background of this page. Alright, so how do we do that? We just simply go to the body, just like we did. Now if I want to give this a background color, I know this is where I have to come, so I can have style. Then instead of the background color now, so I will just have background image. So if I specify background image, then now I'm going to specify the URL of the image, where the image is. So if the image is on the same directory as the distance, I can just mention it. So let's say I want the background image to be larry.jpg. That's an image that is in my folder directly. We've been able to link to images before. So the URL is the source of that image. That's uniform resource location. So I have the larry.jpg. That's the name of the image I want to use as my background. So if I save that, and I go in there, so I can see I can feel that there is an image in the background, and which is Larry. So if I use a smaller image, let me see if was is smaller. So I can see was there like that, and you can see him you're smiling to us at the background. So you can see him smiling to us as a background. So if you want it, okay, so let's leave it as simple as this for now. Alright, so this is how we set our background image. Alright, so if you notice on your browser, you see that this background image is repeated. So you can see Steve Jobs was there. Alright, so if I want to be able to, manipulate these repeats, let me even change this guy. Let me see how Mark will look on that. Mark might represent better for us. Aha, good. Alright, so you can see that it's repeated. We can see his face repeated like that. So if I want it to, if I don't want it to repeat this way, if I don't want it to repeat at all, so I can specify that, and that can be done with another CSS property, another style properties that you call background repeat. So I say background repeat. So the background repeats, I can tell it no repeat. So when I say no repeat, it means it shouldn't repeat at all. So it will only appear once. So and covers the place is covered. Now I may want it to repeat vertically. So if I want it to repeat vertically, I'll tell it to repeat Y. So I'll say repeat Y. So when I say repeat Y, you see vertical repetition. You can see vertical repetition. So if I don't want it to repeat Y, so I can say repeat X. Alright, so when I say repeat X, it's only just going to be repeated horizontally. Now if I want it to repeat which is the default, so I'll just say repeat. So it's going to repeat both ways, X and Y. Alright, so which is the default? So because it's the default, I may not, if this is what I want, I actually do not need to write the background repeat, because even if I don't write it, that is the result I got. Okay, so I think we've been able to play with our images. We'll insert images using an image tag, and we use the src attribute of the image, naming the image and its extension. Alright, so we have auth, we have alternative, which is W accessibility initiative of W3C, to have an alternative name for an image, just in case it's not showing up. The alternate text will show for it, and this is how we manipulate the width and height of an image, even if its original width and height are not this. Alright, so we did that. We introduced ourselves to title as well. We said title is what is telling us the name of that, or about the image that we are having. So when we mouse over it, we're able to have some effects. So we can have Steve Jobs like that, just in case I don't know them. So the title tells me something about them. Okay, so I have that section that we used earlier on. We were equally able to get an image from a remote server. So this is from a devup.com, which is not on our local system. And what that means is we have to be connected to the internet to have this loaded. So in case it's not loading, nothing else will happen. Okay, yeah, because we don't have an auth tag. So the auth attribute is important for, so I can say what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to have my guy Linus Torvald here. Alright, so pretty much after doing that, we're able to introduce ourselves to our background image as well. Okay, thank you.